On today's episode, we are going to take a quick look at Nvidia. They just reported earnings yesterday after the market closed, and I thought earnings were super strong. But on today's episode, I do believe there are some yellow flags, about 3, that I'm going to mention in today's episode that every investor should know. I'm also obviously going to talk about the green flags as well. If this is your first time here, my name is Jose Najarro. I am a long-term market investor, and Nvidia is actually my #1 position in my portfolio. And I do believe the high conviction comes from my overall educational background in the semiconductor industry. I do have a master's degree in electrical engineering, so my top 2 positions are actually held by semiconductor companies that I believe will change the world. Nvidia is my #1 right now. All right, so let's just start off with overall price action right now. So Nvidia, when the market closed, it was down about 2.1%, but pre-market, the stock price right now is up 1.2%. We can see from this chart right here that it's been all over the place since reporting earnings. Right now, the overall market, I want to say, it's not just Nvidia. The overall market has been tanking. We saw a pretty red day yesterday, and we don't know how things are looking right now. So I do believe the overall volatility could kind of offset the earnings news. Now let's take a quick look at my first yellow flag. And I think the first yellow flag investors should know, and I want to start from least severe. It's their CNP products. Their CNP products are their crypto mining products, and these are the chips or the graphics cards that they kind of created to kind of sell to crypto miners. This only sold about 266 million this quarter, when Nvidia last quarter expected about $400 million in this product. At the same time, I don't believe this product. I want to say this is a yellow flag. Hey, they didn't meet the guidance that they expected. At the same time, cryptocurrencies have kind of been all over the place. A lot of impact in certain geopolitical places where kind of mining has kind of been pushed off or kind of made illegal. Not truly illegal, but illegal to some extent. So I do believe that has impacted the overall crypto mining products. At the end of the day, I'm not here in Nvidia. I'm not investing in Nvidia for the crypto products. So obviously it sucks they didn't meet their previous guidance, but not the worst thing. The second thing I want to talk about is this ARM acquisition. This is also a yellow flag, but before we go there, guys, let's take a quick listen to today's sponsor. A great reason why I'm able to provide so much content to you guys for free. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You guys know I love finding new investing tools and resources to help me scout out new growth stocks. And right now I have a discount for one of my favorite services, The Fool offers. Through the Motley Fool Stock Advisor services, you get access to a ton of expert stock picks. Every month you'll get 2 new picks that are aimed at growing your wealth and to help you realize your financial goals. Stock Advisor's average stock picks have done amazing returns. If growing your money is something you'd like to do more of this year, you can visit fool.com/Jose Najarro or click on the link below for access to my special offer and decide if the Stock Advisor is right for you. Thanks again to the Motley Fool, and now onto today's video. Alright, so the second yellow flag has to do with the ARM acquisition. Let me just say, if you guys watch any of my previous videos, and I cover Nvidia almost on a monthly basis, one of the things I have said is Nvidia is a company I don't believe the ARM acquisition will happen. I am more bearish on this ARM acquisition. By bearish, I mean I believe that the chances of it happening are a lot less than the chances of it happening. I do believe if the ARM acquisition goes through, it would be good news for Nvidia. At the same time, I don't believe Nvidia needs this acquisition to continue to grow, to continue to be the powerhouse machine that it is. And the reason I'm putting this as a yellow flag is my percentage of it happening has now decreased after today's earnings. The main reason is I feel like in previous earnings and every time we talk to management about this overall ARM acquisition, overall management has seemed a little bit more bullish. They will be like, yes, hey, we're still on schedule to it. Today, on yesterday's earnings call and here through this presentation, they talked that, hey, the process right now is still pending. There has been some form of concerns from regulators, and they don't really give you the confidence they used to give you. Obviously, they're still saying that, hey, this would be a great deal for the overall industry, for overall Nvidia, for even the partners, and for anybody involved with ARM. But I believe the overall bullishness or how confident the confident management team is about this acquisition has kind of decreased a bit. I don't think they're pushing back and saying it's not going to happen yet, but I believe they are a little bit less confident. This is a yellow flag to some investors. At the same time, I do believe, right, like I mentioned, ARM acquisition is not needed for Nvidia. Nvidia can continue to be the powerhouse that they are. The third yellow flag I saw in earnings, and again, yellow flags don't necessarily mean a bad thing. It just tells me, hey, Jose, just keep a closer eyes on this. The third thing is their overall guidance. So for the overall guidance, they gave a revenue of about $6.8 billion, plus or minus 2%. That is 44% year over year growth, roughly. I did the quick math, and that's some super strong growth, right? Why is that a yellow flag? The reason it's a yellow flag is because quarter over quarter, it's only about a 4.6% growth. And that's a lot lower than how much this company has been growing in the past quarters. They do mention in the earnings call, right? I'm not going to just give one side of the story. They do mention in the earnings call that right now, the biggest driver for this this quarterly slowdown is the company's supply, right? There's very, very low supply compared to the amount of demand. So one thing they do mention here, we can see, for example, and we'll take a quick look at this trend again in a bit, but the gaming trend has been growing by over 10% every single quarter for the past few quarters. They do expect that gaming for quarter three is not going to grow at any type of level. It's pretty much going to grow at low single digits. And that's due to the overall supply. It's not due to their demand. Supply is right now affecting the company. So I do believe this type of guidance, depending on how long it lasts, and during the earnings call, Jensen did mention that this overall shortage in supply can last for still another year or so. So it might hinder a bit on this overall company's growth. At the same time, investors need to remember that, hey, this is a supply issue, not a demand issue, but still a yellow flag nonetheless. And Nvidia is trying to kind of mitigate this risk. One of the ways is the outstanding inventory purchases and long-term supply obligations were 4.8 billion, up from almost 2 billion, a little bit over 2 billion a year ago. So an increase of about 2.7 billion in outstanding inventory purchase and supply obligations. Is also up about 1.3 billion from a quarter ago. So this company right now is really making its purchases ahead of time because they want to be ahead of the curve because of longer lead time. So they're making sure they have plenty of inventory for future quarters. So overall, I mean, the overall supply risk is definitely there. This company is trying to mitigate that risk by purchasing early and making a lot bigger purchases. They're really trying to build up that inventory. So I want to say that's it for me in forms of yellow flags. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if you guys saw any other yellow flags or any red flags. At the moment, like I said, Nvidia is still holding super strong in my portfolio. I have no intentions of selling anytime soon. This is probably going to be my number one position for many years to come. So now let's take a quick look at the green flags. A lot of green flags. First, start off revenue. Revenue was up 68% compared to the same time last year, and it was up 15% compared to a quarter ago. And if you guys watched my previous earnings video or things to watch before earnings, I did mention there are two things I was watching. First, the gaming growth. Gaming growth saw a huge amount of growth, so strong growth year over year and quarter over quarter. But the second thing was data center, right? We can see every segment except the auto segment gave record revenue. Gaming was 3 billion. Data center was about 2.4 billion. Professional visualization was now over $500 million. Pretty impressive there. OEM and others is a little bit over 400 million, getting close to that $500 million as well. So we can see a lot of their smaller segment revenues are really picking back up. The auto industry is the only one that didn't see any true growth, but we can see quarter over quarter, data center saw strong numbers, gaming saw strong numbers, OEM and visualization saw strong numbers quarter over quarter and year over year. I do want to mention and talk about some of this revenue, where these revenue stuff are coming from. So give me one quick second, guys. I had it right here. So we can see revenue right now. The gaming revenue was mainly led from stronger sales of their overall graphics cards, right? Their GeForce RTX 3300 series are still in high demand. And a lot of people still don't have any in their hand. Me, for example, I'm trying to purchase one. They're still selling out like no tomorrow. In the data center, huge revenue quarter over quarter was from both compute and networking products led by hyperscale customers. So these big boys are still buying plenty and plenty and plenty of products. The professional visualization was up 156% year over year, 40% quarter over quarter, led by desktop workstation GPUs. So these desktop workstation GPUs are when you're doing some form of 3D modeling, maybe cartoon animation, movie design, movie editing, video editing, gaming studio production. So they're seeing huge growth there. That to me shows me a lot of bullish case in a lot of these 3D modeling companies, a lot of these gaming companies, a lot of these animation companies. But that's still, the market is still strong out there. And the OEM and others revenue was up 180% year over year, 25% sequentially, due to the overall CMP products, which are the crypto mining products that we talked about, that drove a nice amount of revenue growth. Now, another green flag I want to talk about is their overall balance sheet. This company has about $20 billion in cash, 19.65 billion to be exact. This is up from about 11 billion a year ago, so huge growth from a year, and about 12.7 billion a quarter ago. Huge. That's about what, $7 billion growth just in a quarter in cash. This company is building up a nice amount of cash right now, and if this ARM acquisition doesn't happen, I personally could see this company doing another form of acquisition, either a small company, something like Mellanox, like it did a year ago. But overall, I do believe Nvidia right now, with that plenty of cash available to itself, it's going to be looking for some smarter acquisitions to make in the future. Maybe some more artificial intelligence companies, maybe some more data center companies to just increase its lead in that technological world. So the final green flag I want to talk about is, before I share my overall thoughts, is these companies' overall margins. I'm taking a look at non-GAAP margins here. Gross margins are 66.7%. This company keeps a lot of money from its products. And their net income, look, this company made revenue of 6.5 billion this quarter. Net income was 2.6 billion. That's a whole lot of money kept in net income after revenue. They have really strong margins. And I do believe the reasons for these strong margins is this company is no longer just a hardware company, right? And I think that's where the huge growth for Nvidia is. It's no longer just a hardware company. People still see Nvidia as a hardware company, but they are becoming more of a software company or a subscription-based company as well. Things like the Omniverse that will go in full production, and animation studios, game studios, and all these types of studios will start licensing their DL subscriptions. All these artificial intelligence in the cybersecurity, in the healthcare, in the autonomous driving, in the simulation of learning robotics, automation robotics, all these types of softwares and products that Nvidia provides as an individual service, I don't think would make a huge move in revenue. But all those services together over time will really create big revenues and will provide great margins for Nvidia. For example, this base command that I've talked about in previous videos as well, where companies are able to rent out supercomputers to some extent and just pay Nvidia thousands and thousands of dollars per month. So those are pretty much most of the green flags I saw about Nvidia. Strong earnings, no intentions of selling. My overall thoughts. Let's say right now, I do want to say Nvidia might be a bit overextended due to the overall volatility in the market. So I do believe in the short term of things, so within the next 6 months, I am a little bit more bearish on Nvidia. I believe the stock price could give us better buying opportunities. That doesn't mean I have any intentions of selling Nvidia, because for me as a long-term investor, in the long term of things, let's say 5 years, I think Nvidia is super cheap compared to where the price it would be in 5 years. So I do believe if I didn't have a position in Nvidia right now, how would I play it? If I wanted to enter right now at these levels, I would enter with the small positions, get some skin in the game, especially if you have fractional trading. If I had free investing, a free fee investing, I would open up with a small position and wait for better buying opportunities or dollar cost average over time. I do believe there's better buying opportunities out there. If we ever see a huge pullback on Nvidia, that would be the time to really get into with a really big position, in my opinion. Again, none of these are advice, it's just my overall opinion. Guys, thank you for listening. Nvidia is one of my favorite companies out there right now, if not my favorite company. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good night, and see you next time.